It was a wonderful experience.
It is my pleasure to be here today.
And I'm happy that Capital Toastmasters is in the finals on 21st.
To debate and prepare your arguments for
Please
it.
join us next time with the debate and learn how to find more in
feels
yourself.
Good to participate in debate.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the third round of our debate championship, the semi-finals. 4 clubs are going head to head to battle out and take a spot in the finals on 21st November. Our team that are going to debate this afternoon, to my right, Active Minds, the automated team. And to my left, Bosco. I would request the audience to refrain from clapping whenever they finish their constructive speech or the cross-examination, unlike a normal speech contest. The proposition has been arrived by a consensus vote by all participating teams. Resolved that experience is the best teacher. There's a slight change from our preliminary and quarterfinals in regards to timing. The constructive speech will be for 5 minutes. The cross-examination will be for 3 minutes. I'm going to read out the names of the members, the same order they are going to speak. Please raise up and to be recognized. The captain of the affirmative team, Shina Alina Kapoor, Nawab Al-Nawi. Judges, please note the speaking order. The captain of the negative team, Toastmaster Toastmaster Stephen Rigo. Toastmaster Vinod Cherry. Speakers, this is going to be your participating area. Debaters are allowed only their pen and pad, no electronic devices. If you have any device, please hand over to me and don't ask. Can we keep your mobile? Any protest by member of the teams is to only the chief judge. For the benefit of our audience, I'm going to brief the speaking order as to how this is going to be conducted. The first speaker will be the captain of the affirmative team. He will give his constructive speech, followed by the negative team captain doing a cross-examination for 3 minutes, followed by constructive speech. Then the second affirmative team member would do a 3-minute cross-examination, followed by constructive speech, followed by the second member of the negative team doing a cross-examination, and then the constructive speech. Third affirmative team member would do the cross-examination and do his constructive speech. Then the third member of the negative team would do a cross-examination and 5 minutes of constructive speech. And at last, the captain would do 3 minutes of cross-examination and 5 minutes of summary speech, followed by the captain of the negative team giving their 5-minute summary speech. A request to both the teams, especially during cross-examination. The team that is going to ask the question, please ask a question, and the team who's going to answer need to answer the question. It's very important. If you don't do it, I would interrupt and ask you to do it. Are you ready? Ready? Yes. Judges, are you ready?
Yes.
We are now going to witness war of words. No, it's only war of words. Let me hand over the podium to the affirmative team captain, Shina.
Your time starts now. Respected judges, audience, and my worthy opponent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Resolve. Experience is the best teacher. That's our debate topic today. Let me start with defining the terms. Experience, an event or occurrence which leaves an impression on someone. Best, most appropriate or advantageous. Teacher, the person or a thing that teaches something or we learn from. We affirmatively strongly believe, we strongly hold that experience is the best teacher. We divide our argument into three parts. First part, experience is the best teacher professionally. Second part, experience is the best teacher educationally. Third part, experience is the best teacher personally. I will cover why experience is the best teacher professionally. My partner Alina will cover why experience is the best teacher educationally. And my partner Muaz will cover why experience is the best teacher personally. So let me directly go to my argument. Why experience is the best teacher professionally. Point number one. In 2009, Monster.com did a survey around the globe to find out the best, the most appropriate factor in success in profession. And 83% of the people who participated in the survey responded that the previous lesson learned from their previous work as the biggest factor for their success. There are so many other factors, but the biggest factor was the lesson learned from their previous work experience. Experience is the best teacher. Point number two. According to scientifically proven psychoscientists, I have the whole report here. According to psychoscientific study, the leadership and judgment skill develops in a person only through experience. If you don't have experience, your judgment and your leadership skill won't be fully developed. This theory was supported by most popular psychologists around the world like Skinner, Roger, James, Erikson. My third point. Another recent study conducted by David Conway, I have a study here. He interviewed world's top 100 companies and asked them what is their biggest secret of success. And most companies responded that the biggest secret of their success is the lesson learned from their customer experience. They learned which way is better and they adopted that method and the company became very, very successful. Point number four. I have another research published in the Time magazine. You can read the headline. Why scientists should celebrate failed experiments. They say all major discoveries in science happened because they failed in the experience. The scientists learned their mistake. They improved in the next trial after trial after trial, and they succeeded. For example, electricity, mobile phones. Even Newton conducted, not related here, Newton conducted so many experiments to actually prove to the world that his discovery of gravity is true. My next point, according to flow concept, I have flow concept here in my hands. According to flow concept, a person will learn how to work when they are given task. With each task, they learn. They get better and better and better, and they become skilled in their profession. Whether it's sports, arts, politics, social, means experience is the best teacher. Now, my friend, my partner, Muaz, will tell us.
Go ahead. Okay, thanks, guys.
Good evening.
My worthy opponent, you have mentioned a point that previous work experience survey has said due to experience people were able to learn so much. Were those people only learning from the experience, yes or no? Only experience, yes or no?
I can't answer the question only yes or
I
no.
asked a very straightforward question. In your survey study, were the people learning only from their experience and nothing else? Yes or no?
The best teacher was the work experience.
My next question to you is, you mentioned a point about leadership and judgment that people make because of experience.
I said experience influences most. The best teacher.
My question to you is, do they have education? Yes or no?
I said experience the best teacher. I didn't say they don't have any other thing. I think you
My
haven't
question
got my
to you
speech
is-
right.
My question to you is experience the only thing to develop leadership and nothing else?
I repeat,
Yes
I
or
will
no?
say it's only
Thank you
three.
so much. My next question to you is, you mentioned a point about the 200 company success. You said that they were able to learn from their customer experience. Does this guarantee for them that there will be no failure in future for them? Yes or no?
I said that
I
is the
am
biggest
very
factor.
simple. I don't need an explanation. The question is very straightforward. Do you say that in future they will not be experiencing failure because they have customer experience? Yes or no?
Every company will have experience.
Thank you so much. My next question to you is, you said that major discoveries were done because of the failures and lessons learned due to those failures. Do you think that everyone should provide given so much of time to fail before they learn something? Yes or no?
I think you are part of the or based on report.
Based,
You're making judgment, you're not allowing me to
my
say anything.
question to you is very straightforward.
First,
You
you have
said that people, because of failure, they learn and they discover something. Now, my question
I
to you
didn't say I
is,
quote
should
you.
people take so much of time to learn from that failure, or do they have any other option also?
Time is needed to learn. Time is needed
Thank you
to
so
learn.
much.
Yes.
My next question to you is, you said that there are tasks, and for that, experience helps people to do those tasks.
I didn't say. I think you have heard my speech.
My question to you
Sorry.
is, does the only factor that's helping people to learn is their
I said it's the biggest
Yes,
factor. The biggest factor. More
Yes,
than
sir.
half of your speech.
I'm asking you very straightforward.
No, no, you're saying I said it. I didn't say it. Ask audience.
Please answer the question.
I said it's the biggest factor. You haven't heard my speech at all.
Thank you so much. My next question to you is, have you ever lost a game? Any game? Yes or no?
I have.
Okay. Have you ever lost it twice again?
No.
Did you ever forget to take
Time starts.
Respected debate chair, panel of judges, worthy opponent, and my dear guests. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
My worthy opponents have claimed points for which they have logical fallacies. I'll tell you why. Now they are speaking about professional work experience survey. They say that people are getting those learnings because of the experience. But it is nowhere mentioned that those were the best part and those were the only part because of their unemployment and their success. They have mentioned about leadership and judgment. Because of the experience people are learning they are gaining leadership and judgment in their skills. Again, it is not because of only experience, and nowhere said that it is because it is the best because of the experience. They have mentioned about success of the top 100 companies. They say that they have learned from customers' experience, but they say that this guarantees that they have no failure in future. This means that experience is not the best teacher, the best teacher. The next point they said is there are major discoveries done because of the failure. Now, do we have enough time to make those discoveries in future, giving infinite amounts of time to everyone? I don't think experience is the best teacher in this case. There are theories, there are different aspects which you can look at to get those discoveries. Now we will prove it to you why experience is not the best teacher, and we will divide our arguments on 3 grounds. First, I'll speak about what is the best teacher. My teammate Stephen will then take on why experience is not the best teacher, and then my teammate Vinu will continue upon why experience is not even a teacher. Forget about being the best. My first point is education is the best teacher. Let me tell you why. A survey by a leading employment company, Glasgow, in 2013 reveals that 82% of the people have got their jobs and learning because of education. 72% of the people on the survey rely on specialized training for their employment and learning. How do you calculate the distance of this place from your home? You cannot say it by your experience. There is a specific theory going into this. Why do countries give driving manuals and signal guides to every of its citizens? It's straightforward. You cannot learn these things by your experience. My second point is mentors are the best teachers. I'm not lying. National Dropout Prevention Center study for 2012 shows how drug addicts have reduced drug usage by 46% because of special mentoring programs. That is not experience. 27% decrease in alcohol consumption by the alcoholic, and 38% decrease in people hitting someone. That is not because of experience, but because of special mentoring. My third point is that written knowledge is the best teacher. Now you can classify written knowledge into various forms, but let's look at only a few of them. Newspapers, history books, science books, reference books, self-help books. Daily, 3 billion people read newspapers, both offline and online. They are able to gain so much of knowledge on a daily basis, not because of experience, but because of reading. Today, if you don't know how to program, you don't need an experience to learn it. Programming for Dummies is a book available on all bookstores nearly. Experience cannot teach you all these qualities. How do you know that Abraham Lincoln led the US out of slavery? Did anybody in this world interact with Abraham Lincoln to get this knowledge? No. So, in conclusion, we say that experience is not the best teacher, and we say that because education is the best teacher, your mentors are your best teachers, and written knowledge is the best teacher, not experience. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
You said that the employment is on CV, right? And the CVs
I would like to clarify that I never mentioned the word CV and Please go ahead.
what is the first thing that you write on CV? Education or experience?
Now that is a very interesting question. This depends on my personal opinion, but this may not be true for everyone else in the whole population. So if I try to write anything on my CV in the front, that completely depends on two factors.
I'm sorry, but I probably get asked the question. What is the first thing that you write on your CV?
For me, again, this is a personal choice, and that will depend on the employer that I am applying to. I may apply to a lot of employers for whom I will write my education first. There will be a lot of employers for which I can write experience first. That completely depends on what is my personal view and the employer I am applying to.
If you go to a template on the internet for applying with a person that is.
Okay, now that she has mentioned the point about template, so let me get into what is a template available on the internet.
Okay, I understand that. Thank you very much. You said that writing is theoretically.
I didn't say that. My point is, countries are giving driving manuals and signal guides to all of its citizens. I never said the point that the question that you are asking.
The question is, let's take it how do you value this? What else do you and what else do you need except for a driving license and skills?
I think you have not heard my speech very carefully. I have not talked about what else is required to learn the driving. What I am saying, my point is that countries are giving driving manuals and signal guides to its people because they cannot learn driving by their experience. Once a guy meets an accident, it does not ensure that next time he is not going to make an accident.
So you try that if he doesn't know the rules from the manual, you might not.
That is a very probabilistic case. Now look at the data of the research. How many people?
You said that the books are the best teacher. After you read the book, you just get it to the shelf and go ahead.
Now to clarify this thing, I never said that books are the best teacher. I said that written knowledge is the best teacher. Now there have been written communication from history without the books also. I am considering all the cases and I say that written knowledge has been the best form of knowledge transfer. That is where the learning comes from and that is the best teacher process.
I'll try. Working opponents, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My working opponent here talks about 3 points. First, he says that employment based on CV is very successful. Now, we all know that the first thing we write on our CV is experience, because that is exactly what people, the employer, expects from you, experience. They're not willing to teach you and to send you to seminars and spend time with you or money with you. They need you to be already experienced. Second, driving. Can you drive without actually holding that wheel, going out in the streets and taking the roundabouts and everything? We all know, we all drive. We all know that driving means experience. Third, mentors, books. Yes, we read a book. A book is an experience in itself. We live and we understand what it is in that book. So that makes it part of our experience. We don't just leave it on a shelf and on the library to go ahead with our life. We learn something from that book. And maybe that's something that we learn from that book we apply in our life. And that is experience. So whatever we take from the books, we experience. Mentors, right? Agree? We need mentors. But what do they teach us? They teach us what to do, and we have to go and do. And that is experience. So a mentor is not enough. Thank you, mentors. All the respect for my mentors. But my mentors would be really angry with me if I wouldn't take their teaching and go out and apply them and show that I understood what they taught me. So, all in all, our working opponent fails in showing us that actually experience is not the best teacher. 1999 has given you compelling evidence why experience is the best teacher professionally. I will show why experience is the best teacher in education. Experiential learning is not an invention of our time. It goes way back to the old school of Aristotle and Plato's peripatetic learning, that is learning by doing. So experiential learning is the best teacher. An extensive study done by UNESCO in 2007 shows that we learn from our experiences. Actually, this is the only way we learn. So experiential learning is the best teacher. UNESCO experts make three main points to show that experience is the best teacher. First, they show that learning by doing means to get involved in the action, and thus to own the result. Second, they talk about the emotional implications of learning by doing. And third, they show that learning by doing is fun, and this way it is easier to assimilate the lesson. So ladies and gentlemen, why experience is the best teacher? First, experience is the best teacher because you get directly involved in the problem solving, in the event, and when you are directly involved in making something happen or not happen, then you cannot separate from the result, from the event. You own the result. You own the outcome. And with this kind of ownership, there is a higher likelihood to achieve the lesson. Second, the experience is the best teacher because of the emotional qualities that they bring in. Learners experience a wide range of emotions, from fun to challenge and frustration. And obviously, this emotion provides a powerful mechanism for remembering and keeping that lesson. Third, learning by doing is fun, and people are more receptive and able to learn when they are enjoying themselves. Active learning, ladies and gentlemen, enables people to construct meaning and deep understanding, and not just simply record knowledge. So, ladies and gentlemen,
what your opponent. You said that learning by doing is an experience. Do you agree that experience learning is the only of learning?
it is not the only way of learning, but it's not the best.
You said learning by involving or problem solving. Do you agree nothing can go wrong in doing on an activity? Yes or no? Thank you. And the next one was emotional experience. Do you agree emotionally people are capable enough to learn?
They are directly involved.
No, my question is, are they able to learn emotionally?
No.
Thank you. And you brought a point of learning is fun, or learning by fun. Do we have any data for this?
Absolutely.
Can I?
Beautiful study in which
A study by whom?
a study by Rockford University, 2001, that shows that fun not only for children.
What is the official? Who did that?
Rockford University, New Jersey, 2001.
2001. It was done in 2001.
20%.
Okay, it's more than almost 10 years. Thank you. I have a lot of questions, but my worthy opponent has not made any valuable points. So I will end the questions here. Thank you. respected moderator, honorable judges, Toastmaster, my worthy opponent, good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon. My worthy opponent has brought in only a few points about educating yourself through experience. Education doesn't only come through experience, it comes through education, and you have to educate yourself. As she brought up a few points, education by doing, education by problem solving, emotional experience. And when I asked that question, simple question, is it the only way of learning? She said no, she doesn't agree to her own point that education is the best way of learning. She didn't even agree that she doesn't guarantee that by learning, doing something, she learns something. And by experiencing that, she doesn't agree that there is nothing going to go wrong. And the third point was, she stressed on a point that emotionally she is learning. But when the question was asked, she did not agree to that point as well. Here, we conclude that all the points raised by her are not relevant without any proper data. Now, I am here to present a few points that saying experience is not the best teacher if it is a teacher at all. My first point is experience is not the best teacher because experience is personal opinion. Might be right, might be wrong. We are very health conscious. But when we go to the doctor, do we ask the doctor what is your experience? I don't think so. We see what is his qualification. How many people really go to the school and see what is the experience of a teacher before enrolling their kids? Hardly any. Why? Because we look at the facilities provided by the school. We look at what labs do they have. We look at what is the possible growth that my child is going to have. Financial planners do not wait for the disaster to happen to plan for a year. Oil refineries are very safe today because of the scientific research, study and the simulation that they have which contributes to the safety. My second point is, experience doesn't help when people don't know how to use it. As per Development Dimension International by Jim Colsman, Vice President, Leadership Development, 89% of the people are not effective in conveying performance expectations and facilitating clear agreement. My third point today is, experience only knows a little and hardly matches the new encounter. Experience could be a great teacher. Don't you agree? But it is not the best. The best teacher is one who knows everything. Experience occasionally comes with the trial and error. As per the survey by DDI published in May 2014, 90% of the executives are not effective in checking their understanding of situation before moving on addressing an issue. My fourth point today is there has to be a theory before every experience. Experience by itself has no value. Every scientist has a hypothesis. And when they discover or invent something, they test the hypothesis to prove. If a man had to wait for an experience, would have never made it to the moon. My next point is, not all experiences are educating. As for the sailors' experience, the earth was flat. And they thought, when they reached the edge, they would fall down. But Aristotle and the Greek scholars, by their research, found that the earth is round. To conclude, experience as a concept is neither good nor bad, but it has the potential
was your opponent? First of all, you said your point was that experience is not the best teacher. Then you asked the audience, experience can be a good teacher, right? And then he asked you, experience can be a good teacher. He asked you, right? And then you said, experience is the teacher, if it is even the teacher. So, because before I go with my cross-examination, I didn't understand. Do you agree that experience is a teacher or not?
We have to find out first what kind of experience. Whether it's going to teach something, whether it's not going to teach. If it's going to...
Experience is an event or occurrence which leaves an impression on someone.
But you're talking about experience.
These are my questions. Do you believe experience is a teacher or not?
But what kind of experience? Experience is not the best teacher. But here, if you're
not listening my question. You are talking that experience is not the best teacher.
Yes, it's not the best teacher.
You said that he's going to mention that experience is not even a teacher.
Oh yeah, that's his full touch on that.
I know, but you guys are not the same thing.
No, he has not
Is it
spoken
a
yet.
teacher or not? Okay, for you, tell me so I can continue my consideration. Is it a teacher or not?
It's not the best teacher.
It's not the best teacher, it is a teacher. That's fine. Now my question for you, for the first point you mentioned that teacher and doctor use their education. Which is better, an experienced teacher or a non-experienced teacher?
Education is the first point. If a teacher doesn't
Which
have...
is better, experienced teacher or non-experienced teacher? Which is better, an experienced
Educated.
doctor or a non-experienced doctor?
See, if you're asking me an opinion of which is better, I would say an educated teacher is the better.
Correct. All teachers are educated. You go to a teacher or a doctor that is not.
No, we have some components.
Which is better,
Yes, you are saying...
doctor or non-experienced doctor?
Now, my worthy opponent is saying, which is better? When he says better, I need to make a decision. And if I have to make a decision, I will decide on who has done best of the studies.
So you believe that
Education is the best.
So why don't we say to the doctors, thank you very much, and just open laptop, tell them how to feel, and then they give us prescription. We can accept this.
No, are we talking about the internet, are we talking about the doctors?
We are talking about the doctors. We are saying that education is important, right?
Right, that if a doctor doesn't have an
That's
education.
important. We said experience doesn't help when people don't use it. What's the ratio of people who don't use experience? Do you have any numbers for this? Do you have any something for this?
Yes, we do have a statistic for that.
What is the ratio? Quickly.
About 89% of the people don't use their education.
89%.
89% of the people do not use their education as per the...
And we are talking about experience, we're not talking about education here.
Right, about the
Experience doesn't
Yeah.
help.
As per the experience itself.
Dear moderator, distinguished judges, my wonderful opponents, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, good evening. I think it's evening now. My worthy opponents, first of all, try to say that education is the best. First, I need to tell you one thing. We are not trying to prove that experience is the only teacher. We are really trying to prove that experience is the best teacher. Education is absolutely necessary. We can't get a doctor without an education. We can't get a teacher without education. But the experienced teacher, the experienced doctor is way ahead of a non-experienced teacher or a non-experienced doctor. Also, another thing they mentioned is that education is very important before experience in order to make it. Would you get in? So another point that they touch is that education and study is very important. So before to get the results, but education or experiments or research or studies, they are all important and they will not be validated without an experience. Would you get in an airplane without making sure that it has been tested before? Absolutely not. Would you go to a new car manufacturer and get in their cars without even make sure that their cars are good? Absolutely not. For those reasons, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you first with what we as a affirmative team has done so far. Our Captain Shilan has clearly proved to you that experience is the best teacher in professional life. Then our second speaker, Alina, proved to you that experience is the best teacher in educational life. It's now my turn to prove to you that experience is the best teacher in your personal life. First, allow me to remind you with what we define best as. Best is the most appropriate or advantageous. Now, I firmly believe that experience is the best teacher in your personal life because, one, experience is the most appropriate teacher for infants, babies, and toddlers. Two, experience determines how proficient a child becomes in his or her life. Three, experience is the most appropriate way to change adults. Last but not least, experience enhances our decision-making skills. Now, please allow me to elaborate more. First, according to a study done by the University of Washington in 2008, Institute of Learning and Brain Science, experience is the most appropriate teacher for infants, babies, and toddlers. The research tells that active hands-on experience is more effective than watching. The institute did an experiment on 10-month-old infants, and they found that infants who had the chance to use a cane to get an out-of-reach toy, they understood the use of this cane way better than infants who just watched an adult doing the same. Second, according to a study done by Oslo Prevention Organization, based on multiple university studies in 2000, experience determines how proficient a child becomes in his or her life. The study tells that like vitamins, like protein, like fat, and everything else, experience is a very important food for growing and developing the brain. And thus, experience determines how proficient a child becomes in his or her life. Third, experience is the most appropriate way to change an adult. This is according to a study called 3 Years to Change, done by senior physicists from the University of Rhode Island in 1980. The study tells that as we grow, we develop more personality and we become more resistant to change. The only way to make sense out of the change at this stage is just to do it, just to experience the change, and you will be able to change. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, experience enhances our decision-making skills, according to a study done by the University of Rochester in New York in 2009. The study tells that the human mind has two systems for decision-making, one emotional and one reasoning. None of them is always right. So how to take the decision? It's always by the experience. The study tells experienced people will be able to take good decisions more than non-experienced people. Ladies and gentlemen, for those reasons, we believe that experience is the best teacher because it's the most appropriate teacher for infants, babies, and toddlers. It determines how proficient the child becomes. It can change adults.
My first question is, you mentioned about babies learning. Do babies say me yes or no? Do babies hurt themselves in doing things?
Yes.
Thank you.
They will learn from this, right?
My next question, please. Should we allow them to hurt themselves?
Well, I always allow myself to get followed.
So you're happy?
And I always tell you, if you don't follow, you will never do.
So you're happy your son gets hurt?
Absolutely. I want to
Thank you. I go to the next question. Do infants imitate wrongdoings? You said infants are learning. You said infants learn from experience.
Yes.
So there are things that are not that you do everything like. There are things which you do wrong. So you said, do infants imitate wrongdoings? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. That's it.
No, that's
My question. Alright, my question. I have another question for you.
You should see my son. He always fall, he always jump.
All the bad things.
Now he's an experienced baby.
He's wasting my time. I have another question for you. Have you ever met with a car accident in your lifetime? Have you ever met with a car accident?
Yes.
How many times? How many times?
Lots of times.
Lot of times.
This always made me drive safely.
Okay, that's good. I have Do you believe, yes or no, do you believe you had the experience of having so many accidents? Do you believe that you will never do an accident again in future by this experience?
And then from other people.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
What
is it? It's a clear-cut question. I am saying with that experience of having accident 4 or 5 times, you will be happy. Yes or no? Will experience of having no actions you mentioned ensure you that you will not have future actions? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Have you made mistakes in life? How many times, how many often do you make mistakes? Lot of them. Do you think, and you will repeat the same mistakes again and again?
No, I don't repeat the same mistakes.
How
I learn from my mistakes. But
How?
this is experience. I learn from my mistakes. Then I do it again. If another mistake, I'll just learn from it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maureen. That's it.
Thank you.
Respected moderator, chief judge, panel judges, Toastmasters guest, and my working fellow opponents. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My working opponent mentioned a lot of things. He said that he's happy in his baby getting born. And he's happy in his child doing wrongdoings and encouraging it. And then he couldn't prove so many things which I mentioned earlier, where he said decision making comes from our childhood, whatever it is like. See, the infants get decisions from the kids. It's not only by experience, it's not by experience, it's by education. When a child is educated properly, he gets better education and grows up to be a good person in the future. With that, I conclude my this thing and go to my constructive speech. My friends have mentioned, starting with my captain, mentioned the why experience, what is the best teacher. My second person has mentioned why experience is the best teacher. I have mentioned why experience is not even a teacher. My first point is, experience is not a teacher if results don't work out perfectly. 2014 World Cup champions, Germany, a highly experienced team, currently ranked number 1 in the world, lost to an inexperienced minnow, fallen 2-0 in a European Cup 2016. Goes to show that experience is not even a teacher. A panel of experienced professionals on the FIFA board still can't decide on the staging of the Qatar 2022 World Cup. The latest news, they are thinking to have it in January or February 2022, which will clash with the Winter Olympics. Experienced people can't reach a decision, hence experience is not even a teacher. My point number 2. Non-related experiences adds to no value. A small example. A businessman was on board a boat, was asking the sailor whether he knew anything about business, what profits have you earned, and so on. The sailor was frustrated and asked him, "Do you know how to swim?" The businessman said, "No." The sailor responded, "So, how do your business experience come if this boat sank?" Experience is not a teacher. According to the results of 2013 online personal experience by January, 74% of people get frustrated on websites when contents, offers, ads, promotions, etc. appear that have nothing to do with their interest. Point number 3. People in general are not going to remember things for a lifetime. Who have ever found it for a name to fit a face will believe that brain begins to lose its sharpness and memory. It is not from the age of 60, my dear friends. It is as early as the age of 45. People start losing their memory. A project titled Curve of Forgetting, done by Counseling Service of the University of Waterloo, which builds on an amazing observation in by Herman Edwards. People forget 50 to 80% of what they have learned after one day. And even more better, 97 to 98% after a month. My next point. Experience without intellect and wisdom leads to superstition. Black cats, bad luck. I have a friend who has a black cat as a pet and she's still alive. Cleaning your house with a broom at night, you will throw a good luck out of the house. This might be a superstition created by some lazy people who don't want to clean the house after they come back from work. Intellectual knowledge has much to do with the brain, while wisdom comes from within the heart. In wisdom, both head and heart work together. My last point. After gaining experience, people don't know how to apply it properly. Nokia, at the peak of 2008, controlled 41% of the market. Nokia is now no longer a competitor because of Apple, Samsung Electronics, LG, and many others who created a hurricane in the market with smartphones. Experience of technology did not translate to teaching them how to stay competitive. To conclude my point, so in conclusion, planning, learning, attaining intellect and wisdom, research and development are the best teachers and not experience. Over and over.
Do you think education is an experience? Yes or no? Do you think
Education is not an experience.
Not an experience. Do you think losing a game doesn't teach you anything? Yes or no?
Losing a game teaches me a lot of things.
Yes or no? And do you think experience of swimming can save your life when you are drowning in a ship? So,
Now this has to be decided.
Yes, sir.
This has to be decided whether I know swimming or not.
don't you think brain holds good memories and bad memories?
Brain holds
Good
lot
and
of things. Brain holds lot of things.
It's simple, straightforward. Do you think
Brain holds lot of things. Brain holds lot of things. But the thing is, what happens is,
are you married?
yes,
And you forgive your wedding?
no,
And do you think people don't apply the lesson learned from their experience afterwards?
no.
Good afternoon, audience, judges, my worthy opponent. It is, I don't mention how well vetted you guys decided. I was confused with the argument first. The last guy said, experience doesn't teach you, it's not in the teacher. But the second guy said, it teaches you things, but it is not the best teacher. I'm confused here. What's your point? Second, I'll start with the first speaker, what he mentioned. He said about driving. Who is the best teacher in driving? Yeah, they have manuals. I didn't say it doesn't teach you anything. I said the best teacher is experience. And in driving test, the most important test is not the written test. You go to the road and you drive and you prove that you can drive. Experience. He also mentioned about programming for dummies. It's a book. I read the book. The first thing the guy in the book tells us that switch on your computer and try. I can give you the book. I have program for dummies or for Java or C++, for everything. The first thing the guy tells you that open your computer, practice. He also mentioned about Abraham Lincoln. I have a biography of Abraham Lincoln where clearly mentioned he learned from his mistake. He lost many battles before he became the president of the US. Learn from experience. And our debate is experience is the best teacher, not experience is the only teacher. He asked me after my speech that it's the only thing, it's the only thing, it's the only thing. No, it is not the only thing. It is the best thing. Me, myself, Elena, and Nuas, they told you it's the best teacher, not the only teacher. And when my partner asked him about the stats, the second speaker, second speaker told that 89% people don't use their education when we asked about the doctor. So, the second speaker agreed with us. 89% of people doesn't use their education, they use their experience to prove it. And someone mentioned about hypothesis. Yes, in scientific study, the first step is hypothesis. But hypothesis is not a theory. I must tell you that hypothesis is tested experimentally to make it a theory. Experience is the best teacher, not hypothesis, not the theoretical knowledge. Now, I will summarize our points. We said experience is the best teacher because most people in my survey said that was the biggest factor. They didn't refute it. Experience is the best teacher. I said, according to psychoscientists, your judgment skill develops through experience. They didn't refute it. Experience is the best teacher. I said, in research done on 100 top companies, the biggest factor of the success was the lesson learned from customer experience. They didn't refute it. Experience is the best teacher. Again, I showed an article by Time magazine to prove that all major scientific discovery happened because of the lesson learned from the previous failure experiment. They didn't refute it. Experience is the best teacher. I said, according to fourth concept in psychology, unless you are given a task, you can't get better on the task. With every task you learn and you become better. Experience is the best teacher. They didn't refute it. Elena told the audience that the best way of learning something is experience. They didn't refute it. Muas told everyone that personally, experience is the best teacher. They didn't refute it. My final argument. We didn't say experience is only teacher. We said experience is the best teacher. The main point they made is education is the best teacher. Education is the best teacher. Don't you think education is hollow? Education is experience. We go to college, not just for study. We go to college to have the experience. Otherwise, people will sit in home and study from there. Education, by all major people studies, education is an experience. So I think they are totally confused. Just clap and pass a resolution. Education is the best teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Again. My worthy opponents have made specific claims. Now I come back to them. Get you what are the fallacies that they have again summary assumed. I will get to that. Let me start by re-emphasizing why experience is not the best teacher. During our constructive speeches, we have proved to you why education, mentors, and written knowledge are the best teachers. We have given you evidences, we have given you research studies why people prefer written knowledge over experience, education over experience. You calculate a distance based on your theory, not on your experience. You get driving manuals, you get signal guides. You cannot do those things out of your experience. There has to be a written education for you. We have talked about why it is not the best teacher. We gave you reasons on why it is a personal thing for everyone and won't be used in future. Does a car accident guarantee you that next time you are not going to have a car accident again? Which are what the opponent agrees. That in future, if you have a car accident, you cannot have a car accident again. Let's every one of us go to the road, have an accident to the extent, so that we do not face an accident in future. The point that we are making here is that experience cannot tell you everything. You go to a mechanic, you see what is the qualification, certification he has achieved, what are the quality of body parts he is going to use for your car, not based on 10 years or 20 years of his experience. Similarly, you would not look at a doctor's or a teacher's experience, but at their qualifications. It is not the best teacher. We have said that theory will always be required for everything, and experiences are not necessarily educated. Why Mercedes-Benz does not rely on their crash tests? Why don't they go to the roads, crash their cars, and learn that accidents are not met for their customers? They do those things on simulations, on theoretical studies, research sciences. Why experienced Germany lost to inexperienced Poland? Why did they take learnings from their experience? Experience is not the best teacher. Why Nokia lost its major market share to Samsung or LG or any other player. Their experience did not tell them anything. It was solely because of their research and development. Now let's come to our opponent's point. Now experience for us is for people, is for everyone. It can be best for one and it may not be best for another. That is why we talk about multiple alternatives. Education, mentors and written knowledge. Not the only thing, because it's not for anyone, it's for everyone. The second thing is, my worthy opponent mentioned that programming for dummies asks you to first switch on your computer. But does it say that based on your experience, switch on the computer? It says there's a button there. You need to press that button to get the computer started. That's my point. Experience cannot teach you everything. It's not the best teacher. He says that Abraham Lincoln learned a lot because of his experience. I agree to that he learned a lot. But was experience the best teacher for him? Was he not qualified? Was he not educated? No. We are saying that in their constructive speeches, they have talked about experience. We wanted to prove it to them that it was not the only thing that can teach you something. And there are other alternatives which are the best alternatives which we have already provided. Now, how many people lost money in financial markets and did not learn from their experience? How many people went to world wars and did not learn from their experience? Ladies and gentlemen, for these reasons, I say again and again and again that experience is not the best teacher. Thank you so much.
With this, the first debate is over. I would request the audience to stay back. The judges are going to go out to mark the ballots. Please give both the team a big round of applause. Yes. Let me hand over the participation certificate. Shina. Same question for everyone. It's a new experience for all of us, this debate. And through this process, we are learning a lot. I would want to know, what is that you have learned through this phase up until now?
I think in more team members of background. Is a friendship to share. And I got two new friends. That's the biggest thing I learned from the
You know, there's a funny incident. My daughter's not here, she's in India. So last time when I got the best debater award, so I sent a WhatsApp message saying, I got the best debater, and immediately she replied back, what you couldn't get at home, you got it outside. Alina, your experience, what have you learned? And Toastmasters is all about learning. So what have you learned through this phase?
First, I have to repeat what Sandy said because she just took the words out of my mind. I got more experience in debate.
Irrespective of what answers you guys tell here, the judges are not here.
Absolutely, I'm not sure the judges. I'm absolutely being honest. And I basically was thrown into the debate right in the lines layer. So I had to learn very fast, and I just discovered that I can do it.
what I learned so far is that regardless whether you are debating on a winning case or a losing case, you need to always prepare your argument. So fight again. Can I say one thing? The judges are outside. Do you know that no human teacher is still one of the top in the world because of the dummy code, not because of the smartphone? Yes.
Please give them a round of applause. So everyone, I think we need to give us a round of applause. That is your experience so far.
My experience with this debate competition has been extremely amazing. This is my second month of the Toastmasters and third month into it. My teammate Steven has been in Toastmasters for 5 months, and we are in the second year of our club. So it's a very big achievement for every one of us. We are really very proud that we have reached this.
While everyone was standing here and debating, I was wondering how is he going to be in the speech contest? What is your competitors? Stephen.
Through this debate, the most important thing I learned was, I wish I could say that I learned a lot of experience. But the thing is, for the last two debates, we did a lot of research. We had the debate maybe at 3 o'clock, we were doing the research till 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock and 1300. And I learned that it's not the research only. I mean, whatever you research, you need to study that. So we did some study today. That's what we learned. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Raj. I'm not a professional Toastmaster, but I've been senior to my members here. These, actually, even if we reach this much, this value is more to them because they have come from a list to start. This is a very good training ground for these two, and it has been a very good achievement because this victory, even if they are or not, this was a good training ground for them. And the thing is, I appreciate the organizers for arranging something like this because we have contests going to happen this one soon. So we are getting well in by this debate. We are getting good in evaluation, table topics, and in international speech. So this is a good boost, and we are going on the way to reach the good goals. Thank you very much.
Now Raj needs to answer the same question.
This is a certificate of appreciation to the moderator, Raj Director. Hello. My experience in this debate, where I was a participant, realized is you suddenly get the opportunity to learn about a new subject altogether from two different perspectives which you would have never done. If somebody wants to know more about advertising, you can come and ask me because that's what I debate with so much of research. So, Toastmasters is all about learning that we are emphasizing. Every activity we do, there is some learning in some form. So that's something that I really love about this session. Thank you. You all have to agree that Toastmasters will give you manuals to educate yourself. But you all have to agree that Toastmasters will give you manuals and books to educate yourself and to give you a platform to practice and get experience. That's what makes the organization of Toastmasters a unique platform. We have a 15 minutes break and then we'll convene again for the next debate. You can help yourself with tea and coffee and refreshments at the conference. Thank you.